I had a subscriber reach out and ask if I could demonstrate how it was that I sifted my compost. I'm going to demonstrate how, why, and when. I'm also going to show you the sifting box that I made. It's made very simply out of some materials that I cobbled together that I had laying around my property. Stick around, we'll get started. Yeah, I will generally wait for a minimum of 8 weeks before I take the compost from the yard and put it out with my plants. It really allows it to mellow. It allows it to age, and the carbon to nitrogen ratios get more into balance so that it's not in competition with the plants that I'm planting it with. Within that 8-week time frame, the hens will have had an opportunity to comb these piles effectively enough to remove all the remaining weed seeds and the seeds that I placed within them, producing a highly refined product. It's very tilthy, as you can see. This has not been sifted, this compost. The only reason that I sift my compost at all is for use in my annual beds. In order to grow long, straight root vegetables, you need to have soil that is free from obstruction and well draining. All of the rest of the compost that gets used here on my property doesn't get sifted, but it will be in this form, this 2-month-old form. There's larger chunks of wood in here, there's larger chunks of charcoal. The heavier material helps to aid in moisture retention. It also is a slow release fungal food for the soil life and the soil that we're trying to build. I'm going to go ahead and show you now how it is that I sift my compost. The sifting box that I've made, it's completely low tech, very simple design. It's a rectangle, and this dimension from here to here is narrower than the width of the wheelbarrow. So all the material that is sifted will wind up in the wheelbarrow, and then these tails on all 4 corners sit outside of the wheelbarrow so this won't fall inside. I'll show you that in just a second. But it's made with 1/2-inch hardware cloth, just 2x4 material, and then the hardware cloth is sandwiched in between just using battens, which I've just stapled on all the way around. It's been very sturdy and durable. I've been very happy with the use of this thus far. I've used it for about a year, and it's worked just fine. I don't sift a lot of compost, so I don't need anything more extensive than this, but this works well, and I'll go ahead and I'll show you that now. Yeah, I'll usually just put a couple of shovelfuls at a time and then just work my way through it. The real direct benefit of allowing the hens to work it in this way is that it's, as I said before, it's just so fine and so tilthy, and it just wants to go right through the screen, and you're not going to spend a lot of time trying to work it through, and you don't wind up with clumping if your moisture content is right. You really don't want your compost to be any wetter than like a damp sponge. Shouldn't be really any drier than that. If you allow your compost to dry out, the beneficial microbes and bacteria aren't going to thrive and flourish in that environment. So they're either going to die off or they're going to go somewhere else that is a little bit more inhabitable. Yeah, the sifting process generally takes 15 to 20 minutes, quite honestly, to get a wheelbarrow load, but it's actually kind of a enjoyable thing to do if you're not in a hurry. So at this stage, I wind up picking out the rocks, tossing them out, and then this material here will be directly added into the other compost piles. Bones go over into a bin over there for use for making charcoal later, and rocks go outside of the fence. You know, each one of my piles is very, very different because the inputs are so different. And so the benefit of being able to take material like this from one pile and then adding it to another is you get to spread that diversity, that microbial, fungal, and bacterial diversity to other piles within the yard. And this stuff already has a significant head start. It's 2.5 months old. and it's been infused, inoculated with all of that stuff that I want to cultivate and grow within this compost. So I'm going to take this and dump it into another pile that's in an earlier stage of development, and it'll have more time to break down, more time to grow. So it's a real benefit. But yeah, this stuff's good stuff. You could actually use this as mulch directly around your trees or something like that if you wanted heavier material, but I prefer to kind of keep it in the yard and just continue to break it down. I'll be uploading another video this time next week. Please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you then.